Hey guys, and welcome to Functional Print Friday, and welcome back to my shop. So on the bench this week is the Purge bin that is normally hanging on the back of my Bambu Lab H2D. And I did not design this Purge bin. Normally whenever I get a new 3D printer, I do just design my own Purge bins, but when I got the H2D, I took a look on Makerworld and someone had beat me to what I think is a pretty good design. It's worked really well up to this point, but I have uncovered an issue with this. Now, I don't think we're going to need to redesign this. I think we might even be able to reuse this one as is and just actually add a component. And I certainly don't mean to disparage the original designer and author of this. I actually really like this Purge bin, which is why I have not designed my own. It's just there is an issue we do need to fix. So I'll go back through my printing history and I will find the original link to this one on Makerworld, and I'll make sure that goes down in the description of this video, because if you're looking for a Purge bin for your H2D, this one's very good. There's just one problem. So actually let's go down to my basement and to the back of my H2D and I'll show you the problem I have with this. All right, so here is the Purge chute on the back of my H2D, and this just presses into place. It's like a friction fit. And I think this is the problem. This was originally tighter when I first printed it, and I'm really not sure what has loosened up. There's these two nubs here on the back that press into two corresponding holes here in the back of the chute. I did notice that these two little nubs seem to be bent a little bit. This is printed in PETG HF, so I don't think it's necessarily crept, but it's possible that it got warmed up to its glass transition temp and everything is just sort of shifted back here a little bit. Yeah, even that looks maybe bowed up sort of a little bit there in the center. So I could print another one, and that would probably be good for another couple of months. But what I'm thinking is, since it really only needs to be retained at the top, like if I just push here with my finger and I try and remove this, I can't. The shape that this is, it's locked in place. I know you probably can't tell there looking at the camera, but if I try and push the bottom part away from the printer, it doesn't go. It's locked in place. And I also can't pull directly down with it. So unless the top can come out first, this can't be released. Now I do notice that there is a hole here. Now there's not a corresponding hole here. And there is a fastener back there. So maybe the intent was that you could, I guess, maybe put a washer on that bolt inside there. What I don't like about that is it's going to be really hard to get to. I guess if we drilled a hole here, it wouldn't be too bad. But how many times are we going to take that fastener in and out? Because that presumably just screws into plastic. What if we had like sort of a little, like a knob that turned, that retained this in place so that you couldn't pull the top away? We have these two screws here, and I'm guessing that these two screws aren't doing anything but holding the chute to the steel back of the printer. So my guess is we could probably utilize one of these locations to sort of add like a knob that twists there. I really don't want to take this whole thing apart to figure out what is behind it. So I think we could probably look on Bambu's website, just look at the wiki for this machine and either find instructions on disassembling something else back here, or maybe even the Purge chute itself, and just get an idea what it looks like inside here. So let me do that. I'll bring you back. All right, and here is the wiki page for the Bambu Lab H2D. And I haven't actually used this page before, but I have used their guides for my P1S and my X1C, and they were pretty good. So let's see, printer body maybe? It's, well, rear panel, it's on the rear panel. A little hard to tell. Oh, here we go. Okay, so that's kind of not what I expected to see. I assumed that the chute would actually come off on the rear panel, but it looks like it's still retained inside the printer. That might be our screw up there. Let's see if we can find something better. Let's actually just see if they have maybe a page on replacing the Purge chute. Purge chute, that's P1 though. Oh, here we go, replace H2D Purge chute. Probably should have just started there. See if we can find a better picture here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's that screw hole right there. So it looks like the chute must be divided into multiple parts. Yeah, okay. So it looks like In fact, yeah, this chute must be in two different parts, because this is really sort of the upper part of the chute. If we were looking from inside of the printer, I think we'd consider this part here part of the chute. But it looks like the lower part of the chute must attach to the upper part with that screw that now we can't really see because it's recessed a little bit inside the lower chute. And that hole right there is the one that I would like to reuse. And it doesn't continue back, so I don't see any reason we can't use that. There's an even better view. Yeah, perfect. So you can see right there, that's the screw that is retaining this part of the chute into the printer, and we're just going to use this hole up here. And you can see there's even wires behind there. It only runs that deep, and same thing with that bottom one. So I don't see any reason we can't use that. We'll probably just have to find a longer screw. Since I don't see any kind of insert in there, it must just be self-tapping right into that plastic. So I'll find a screw that's similar. All right, I think that's the plan. Let's use this screw. So I guess let's start by getting this screw out. All right, that is not like a machine thread. That is the type of thread you have self-tapping. Yeah, so that sort of reinforces my original thought that we really wouldn't want to use one of these fasteners to retain the bin, because how many times is that going to go in and out of there before it gets cross-threaded? Now, there is a trick for that. When you're putting the fastener back in to like a self-tapping fastener like this, into especially plastic, if you take the fastener and you put it in and you go backwards, you can feel the start of the thread drop in. You saw it kind of pops up a little bit and drops back in. We're now at the start of the thread. So now if I turn this, yeah, see, that goes in real easy because we're in those same threads. If you just take a screw like this that's self-tapping, again, especially in plastic, and you just put it in there and you just start turning, the chances of you being actually in the threads is at best 50%. You're probably going to cut a new set of threads in that plastic. And that works the second time, works kind of okay the third time. By the time you get to the fourth time of doing that, there's really no threads left. And you kind of just have a friction fit between the major diameter of the threads on your fastener and the wall of the hole where you once had threads. So yeah, that trick of just backing up a little bit, there we go, and dropping it in, that works pretty much every time. All right, and here is the initial design that I came up with for this. And I designed this in two parts. This could potentially be a single part. So imagine this slipped into this piece here, and the two bonded together. And the fastener goes down in this bore here, and that fastener face would tighten against this face here. The challenge there is if this is a single piece, we'd have to sort of balance between the screw being tight enough not to back out and this having the right amount of friction to sort of stay in place, because this would need to swing. So as this swings around, it's going to be, actually, if we swing it counterclockwise, it's probably going to try and back that fastener out, which is not going to work. So I designed this as two parts. The fastener again is going to go in here, but this will be slipped over this part here. So this will move completely independently of the part that the fastener is in. I added clearance down here. This is the thickness of that wall on the bin, plus just a little bit of extra, as I'm not sure how much clearance we're going to need. I don't want to have, too much friction there, that we shouldn't have to fight with this guy to get it into the locking position. And I added a little bit of clearance between the inside diameter of this bore here and the outside diameter of the sort of external shaft part of the bottom of our mount. And then this guy will be retained since the diameter of this section up at the top is larger. So, all right, I'm going to print this out. Let's see how it fits. All right, and our first parts are done. And I was actually just trying to use up an old roll of PLA. I think this is Hatchbox, but I kind of like this color. We might just stick with this for the final design. And one of the nice things about prototyping parts that are this small is you can iterate really quickly. These took, I think, less than 10 minutes for each one of these to print. So I can't remember if this goes, I guess it really doesn't matter if we're just trying to get an idea of the fit. You can hear the layer lines rubbing on each other there. Let's go try it. All right, annoyingly, I could not find a screw with the same head on it, but the important part that matters is I believe the thread pitch on these is either identical or really, really close. Yeah, they do fit together there. I think the thread pitch is exactly the same and the diameter is the same. So this one should work. Okay, I just felt that drop in. All right, that still has more gap than I would like, but does spin freely. So, like I said, I'd rather have a gap than it not spin. Let's try with the bin. Yeah, same thing, we have a gap there too. All the tolerances I left are kind of stacking up against us here, but that's okay. I mean, even as is, the bin can't come off. So let me go revise this and I'll bring you guys back. All right, and here is our revised design. And I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it because it is very similar to the first design. I tightened up the clearances down here a bit, so hopefully we don't have all that extra play in it. But the big difference is, you see I just added a raised section here that comes up to the same height as our mount piece. And I tried to leave enough clearance in there so that the little bit of slop there is between the ID and the OD here, because this guy's going to be able to rock just a little bit, that this shouldn't interfere there. So I'm not sure how this is going to work. I initially had sort of just like a knob coming up and that looked kind of goofy. And then I tried this and I thought, huh, that actually looks pretty good, at least here in CAD. So let's print it out, see how it works. All right, our updated parts are complete. And already before we even get these on the machine, I am loving the look of that part there. It's amazing what such a small difference can make in the design. Now, I guess, you know, it's one thing if it looks nice, it'd be another thing if it's actually easier to operate. But I believe this piece goes on like this. Yeah, I was a little worried that we might be too close and that might just kind of flex enough to rub, but I think we have enough of a gap there. So let's go try it. There it is. Watch this be too tight now. Ooh, it actually is. Well, you know what? That's not bad. Actually, I kind of like that because now it's staying in whatever position we set it in. And already I'm noticing that is way easier to actuate with that raised section on there. Let's try the bin. Oh, perfect. It's right against it. Like I can even feel like a little bit of friction as we cross the edge of the bin. So I think that is right on. And I don't think any amount of the printer shaking or this jiggling around is going to get that out of the way. And this bin, yeah, if I lift from the bottom, there's still a little bit of play, but if I grab the top and I pull, you can see there really is not any play there. And that is super easy to get on and off. And since we're never actually taking that fastener out, now to release the bin, I don't think we're going to wear out any threads. And here's the purge bin that I made for the H2D Plus 4. I designed this one to have a notch on the side here to clear for the fan. And this one just seats in these long holes here in the back and sits away from it so that there's some clearance for air intake there as well. This one's worked really well. When I designed this, a lot of people said it was too small, but you know, I don't think I've ever emptied it. And there's still plenty of room in here. I think it's just deceiving because of its shape and just the sheer size of these newer printers. But here, if I put it next to this one, spin this around, you can see these bins are pretty much the same size. I mean, yeah, this one's taller, but as far as usable volume, these are basically the same. Well, guys, I'm really happy with where we ended up on this. This is probably one of the more simple designs that I have featured on the channel, and I did entertain not even sharing it with you guys. But you know, the whole reason I started this channel is to help get people over that hump from just downloading other people's designs and hitting print to, you know, starting to design your own stuff. And a lot of the stuff we do here on the channel is pretty complicated, even if I'm the only reason for that by overcomplicating it. And, you know, I think it's probably overwhelming to a lot of people, you know, to just get into the software and start drawing your own stuff. But, you know, sometimes it really is just this simple. So if maybe that sounds like you and you're kind of to that point where you're ready to dip your toe into the water and maybe try designing your own stuff, but it just still feels overwhelming, pick something easy. I can't stress that enough. I think the very first functional design that I ever came up with was literally just a flat plate that adapted one screw pattern to another. And it just snowballs from there because you take that skill, even that most basic skill that you've picked up, and you just keep building on it. So if this is your first time here on the channel, this is all we do. It's all functional prints. I don't do any of that multicolored garbage of the week. Nothing wrong with that. It's just there's plenty of channels that do that. We focus on all functional printing and the design and engineering that goes along with that here on this channel. So if you enjoyed this, if you like this sort of thing, check out some of the other videos on the channel. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. And guys, if you do, I'll see you next Friday.